Joining me now is Dr. Dan Kehres, as always on Tuesday mornings. We appreciate it, Dan.
Great to
now,
be here.
yesterday, Jason pretty much came up with this segment. He's like, Liz, I don't know what multivitamin to take. We need to ask Dr. Dan. And I'm like, perfect, he's coming tomorrow.
And the first step is to decide if you're actually going to take a multivitamin.
Right.
And so one of the big problems is if you compare foods from like the 1930s to more modern day foods.
Right.
For example, oranges, you'd have to eat 8 oranges now to get the same amount of vitamin A as you would in the 1930s. And so our food, the nutrients in the food.
You have to repeat that.
Okay,
You
so-
have to eat 8 oranges today.
The quality of food has dropped so much,
Yeah.
and that we mass produce it, and that you have to eat 8 oranges to get the same amount of vitamin A, if you're counting percentage of vitamin A, today compared to the 1930s. And so
That's really sad.
And so just taking a general multivitamin to cover all your bases is a good first step. Now there's a lot of different types of supplements out there. The supplement industry is a $21 billion industry, so there's
Right.
a lot of people going out and buying supplements, but there's a lot of very crappy supplements out there. And so that's the
Listen to this, Jason.
and what you want to do is you want to go and actually try to find a supplement that's actually from one of the pharmaceutical labs that makes them. And there's only like 8 parent companies that make those supplements. So if you walk into a general grocery store and you buy a supplement in there, it's probably not going to be a good quality. So you're probably going to want to go to a health food store, find a local doctor who actually has some recommendations. The kind that I carry is Anabolic Labs. That's because it's one of the parent companies. They make it, and they spend a couple $100,000 a month on testing their own products and making sure that what's in there is actually in there, because they've done some research and they found that, take like a vitamin D supplement for example, they found that across the board only 33% of those vitamin D products had what they said was in there.
Wow.
And so a lot of them had half, 50% of what they actually said was on there. So you could buy something that says a certain amount on the label, but that's not actually what's in it. So you have to be careful.
I believe this because, quick story, my mom was told to take vitamin D3 to get her vitamin D up. So she went to the grocery store, bought a pill, 2 months later, had her levels check again, and they didn't move at all. So they didn't do anything for her.
So one of the big things is you also want to follow the recommendations that are either from your physician or that are on the bottle, because a lot of people buy supplements and they just don't take enough of them to raise up their levels. So vitamin D, you have to take maybe 5,000 to 10,000 IU a day.
Wow.
And otherwise you're not going to get to that level.
Very, very good information this morning. And coming up in our next hour with Dr. Dan, we're talking about the importance of magnesium.
Magnesium, yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite supplements.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to hear about it, but still